Hey everybody, how's it going? Thank you so much for joining me for another video. This time, I don't know, in the description, I probably put something like uh, some of my music or something like that. Anyways, this is a band that I was in for a number of years, like 8 years. And this was kind of on the earlier side of that. It was 1991 when we recorded this. I don't know, I'd probably been in the band for a couple of years. For sure by then. I think it was the late 80s that I joined, could have been. But anyways, I was in it for like 8 years and then it finally just kind of fell apart and dissolved one day, and which was a bummer. But it's a three-piece. It's the three of us. It's me and it's my best friend at the time, younger brother, who's like 5 years younger than me. I was around 24 when I joined, and I was probably around 20. I was probably about 25 here because 1991 I was like 25, so he was like 20, and then his younger brother, he was 15 on drums, so 15-year-old drums, and then a 20-year-old on guitar and vocals, and then me on bass and harmony vocals. And it's called The Brilliant Daydream is the name of the band, and we played a lot all over the place. And we did this in a pretty good studio, and the engineer was a professional and somebody known around town here, but he recorded big, huge names in that studio. It's just like 2 miles away from my house. And then also all over the world, he did sound for famous people. And he got a pretty good drum sound out of this crappy drum set that we had at the time. It wasn't totally crappy, but it was not a professional super sweet drum set, and he is really good with the drums, so he got a good drum sound. And this is up on Spotify now. I just took the DAT tape that I've had in storage forever, that I had no idea how to play because nobody has a DAT player anymore. I finally found a guy that owns a studio here in town, a different studio, and he transferred it into digital. It was a digital DAT tape, so it's digital, I believe, but it was recorded on analog tape, because I remember we had the tapes, and he put it onto this digital format, but it's still a tape. But I don't know. So anyways, the sound quality is pretty good. You know, we're not super great or anything, but pretty fun band, and I really like it. I think we have some great songs, and I've got another tape I'm going to upload too. And I did play a song before, a few weeks ago of the band, of a different recording session that never really got finished, and I copied it myself into digital format where the sound wasn't that great, but the sound on this one's a little bit better. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. This song is called from the Time Machine album, and I can't really show you any pictures on it because it's a long story, but I don't know, somewhere Spotify wanted me to update, and when I updated, they won't let me put pictures and show Spotify on this anymore. So I don't know, they tricked me, they did something. But anyways, so we'll just play the music. And this is on Spotify though, and it's The Brilliant Daydream, and the album is called Time Machine. It says 2022, but really we did this in 1991. I just uploaded it in 2022. It was the first time I ever put anything on Spotify, so I probably made some mistakes. So we're going to check out the so anyways, it's got 12 songs. It's 42 minutes and 44 seconds. And the third song on the track is a song called A Barren Crib. And I talked about it in a couple of videos ago about how I wanted to put not a xylophone, but like a marimba or a vibraphone in it. I kind of wanted to do something like the Tears for Fears song Change. You can change, in that way that vibraphone was. I want to do something like that, but we couldn't find anybody. So an acquaintance of mine that I was hanging around with a little bit at that time played killer violin, so we had him come in and do some violin work, and you'll kind of hear it blending in with the guitar and whatnot. So listen for that. All right, so let me make sure this has got the volume up, and this is a song called A Barren Crib. Oh no, that's Blind Eco. I push play instead of okay, A Barren Crib. Rimbals. Nope.
There's a certain comfort when you're at home. Yes, we know what is under our roof. There's a peace in the spirit when. Yes, we know, but it's time for you to fly.
There it is. God, man, I hadn't heard that song much for a lot of years. I don't even know how many years 1991 is away from now. But I mean, I heard it a couple of times in passing because I used to have the cassette tapes floating around. And then all of a sudden, I didn't have any more. But it's been a long time. But I tell you what, ever since I did this and got this thing digitized, I've been listening to this album. I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe, this album. It just brings back such memories to me, and more than just the album. I remember the recording, being in the studio. It was great. It cost a lot of money. I had my own business at the time, and I forked out a lot of money for this. A lot of this came out of my pocket and the guitar player, singer's pocket, but most of it came out of mine. Probably like 66% of it at least. But it was expensive. I was in a professional studio, and so we played most of it live, and then we did a little bit of overdubbing. Like we brought the violinist in, and then we have a couple songs with saxophone in it, and a couple of songs the lead guitar player or the guitar player does some guitar stuff. Not a lot, but in a couple of songs there's a few extra things that go on sometimes. But mostly it's just the three piece, and then also. We came in and did the vocals separate, and then I came in and did some harmonies separate. I remember doing that all by myself on a separate day. And so there was none in that song as far as harmonies go, but A Barren Crib, we wrote that in probably like 1990, recorded it in 91. We played that almost like every gig. One of our, favorite songs to play. It was just up tempo and upbeat, so people liked it. But that was what we were doing back then. Now, if you go on Spotify and look for The Brilliant Daydream, which is a picture of Sean with a cigarette right here hanging out, kind of like, and a couple of other people sitting behind him, that's the album cover. And that's not the real album cover because I don't have any artwork for that. I'm trying to find it. I have some artwork somewhere, but that's just a really cool picture of Sean. We were playing a gig at the community center. It was something we did every year on leap year, and we were in the back, kind of behind the stage, before or after the show. Can't remember. I think it was after. And somebody snapped that picture, and I just always loved that picture of Sean. Now he's passed away. He passed away quite a while ago, maybe 10 years ago now. Really, really sad. Sad to see a friend like that go, and he, in my mind, was quite talented. And now I know his voice isn't the greatest voice, but as a songwriter, he was really good. And we have so many songs together that we wrote, and he was in other bands too. Afterwards, he was in a punk band that was really good. I loved their music. It was such a good band, and he's just a good songwriter. Anyways, let's see. Did I forget something? I was starting to talk about, the picture. Okay. So my point about that was that there's another The Brilliant Daydream. If you look it up in Spotify and you come up with another one, it's connected. Okay, so that is actually the drummer of the song we just played, and a former bass player that was in the band before me, who's a good friend of mine and was a good friend of, really good friend of the drummer and the guitar player. They grew up together because, like I said before, I was 5 years older than them. So, of course, I'm really good friends with all of them, except for, of course, Sean has passed. But it's connected. Okay, so that is like some music that was, I think they re-recorded recently. Well, that was some older music from before I was in the band that I'd played some of those old songs from their first album when I joined, and then we had written a bunch of other stuff afterwards. So if you see that, it's just kind of a sort of a modern take, a little bit more spacey version of, and not Sean singing. It's I don't know who's singing. They got multiple people in there doing that work. I wasn't involved with it, but just so you know, it's connected. So enjoy that if you want to also. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you checking out some of my old music and bringing up some old memories of some of the things that I used to do. And we played all over the place with that stuff. And if you want to, I'll try to leave the link in the description if you want to go over to Spotify and check out the whole album. All right. We'll talk to you later, you guys. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you hanging out with me. You guys, we'll see you in the next video. And we'll also see down in the comments. I'm kind of curious to see what you guys think of the music. If you don't like it, then don't comment.